All right, good evening, everyone. Hope you guys are well. I just want to see what's happening with my camera quickly. I'm going to switch it on in a few seconds. Welcome to the Model UN United Nations kickoff event for 2025. I hope you guys are ready for some adventures as well as learning some really cool things. I'm David Harperstadt. I'm going to be the program director for today's session. So I hope you guys are super. So thank you for all the emails that you guys are sending me. It's been quite interesting to see that you guys have heard from the other event that we had from last year. And yes, so definitely we are going to be having some fun today. So guys, I'm not just alone. I'm with a whole team of us and we are all over the world. So as you guys are going to see, we've got quite a number of people who are going to be speaking to you. So guys, this project is going to be running over a nice period of this month, pretty much the whole of August. So I'm just going to quickly share the program as well. There we go. It's the fun of having dual screens. Sometimes they jump around. All right, so for this evening, we are going to be doing the following. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. I'm hoping Prof. Makano has joined us. I just want to check with Richard. Did she manage to dial her in?
Let me just try again.
All right, thanks, Richard. Yep, so we're going to hopefully get Prof. Makano on board, and then we're going to have Dr. Chetty with the context and the setting for today. We've got a special guest, the keynote speaker, and I'm going to be introducing him. And then you see there's quite a number of people who are going to be speaking this evening. And we've even got one of our students who actually completed the MOOC last year and attended the summit that we had again earlier in this year. So I'm hoping he'll also be joining us. He's also from quite a far country. And then, of course, we've got the facilitators, and then we've got something really interesting. And I think if you guys don't know what a hackathon is, stay tuned. There's two opportunities here, and one can be potentially life-changing. So, but we will share with you guys that as we go along. And of course, we will have a look at the summit and then, of course, closing for this evening. So I see Prof. Makano has joined us. Thank you, Prof. Makano. So Prof. Makano is the Executive Director of the Department of Tuition Support and Facilitation of Learning. We also call that DTSFL. She's also the chairperson of the UNISA Women's Forum. So guys, when you see that email that comes out saying we are coming to your campus as DTSFL, Prof. Makano will be there. So it's always a good idea to actually come and visit us, go talk to us, because we're there to help you. So it's actually a very interesting project over there. So I'm going to hand over to Prof. Makano to open the session for us this evening. Over to you, Prof.
Thank you very much, Mr. David Harperstadt, and thank you, colleagues. I'm excited for this gathering, which is really enabling us to explore AI and climate change. So this MOOC is going to open the doors for us, especially we as women. This is Women's Month, so we are excited also to have both men and women here. I hope the numbers are more for women. I am going to really speak on behalf of the Vice Principal Teaching and Learning and also our Principal and Vice Chancellor, Professor Pulengling Kabula. We are excited to really host this MOOC in our university in collaboration with UN. We are really looking forward to seeing climate change being addressed in a more academic, looking at what research is saying, and also looking at fields that can help us. If we can look at the electrical cars, what they are doing, they are reversing the carbon emissions that we see, which affect the change in climate. And also, if we look at the areas where drought is troubling the country, where the weather patterns are no longer the same. I study geography, but currently when we look at the weather patterns, you ask yourself whether you are in the northern hemisphere or in the southern hemisphere. So this MOOC that is going to help us in understanding the use of AI and climate change is going to open ways for us to enhance quality education and also to look at the sustainable development goal, in particular goal number 4 of quality education. You are all welcomed in this Model UN, where we are going to talk about climate change and learn more in the month of August. This is the month for women, and we say to all women who are here, happy Women's Month. Thank you very much, Dr. David Hapstad. Over to you.
Thank you, Prof. Much appreciated. Thank you also for coming this evening to join the rest of us. It was really, really much appreciated. All right, so without further ado, as I said, we've got a very jam-packed program. So let's jump over to Dr. Chetty, who is the head of the Academic Development Open Virtual Hub. So if you've never heard of ADOV before, you're definitely going to learn about ADOV with your studies at UNISA. So keep, again, an eye open for any emails that we send out, and of course, the marketing that you actually receive for this event. We have plenty other things that we'll be doing throughout the year. So over to you, Dr. Chetty.
Thank you so much, David, Program Director. A very good afternoon, colleagues. A very good afternoon to Professor Makano and all the speakers that are on the program today, and our students from the different parts of the country and outside as well. It's a pleasure today to have so many of you on the site. I see that we've got really close to 190 or so that's going on at the moment. So it's really good to see such positive engagement, specifically when it comes to a topic on climate change. To set the context for us, one of the activities for our Student Digital Resilience Program as part of ADOV is to look at green technology. And I want to briefly talk about this as we set the context of why this particular MOOC is so important for us. And even as I do this, I also want to thank Mr. Keshav Gupta as well for the continued collaboration with this project, and also for the important international collaborations that he brings on the table to enhance our experiences of our students as well. So when we think of climate change, colleagues, and students, the science of climate change, we know that greenhouse gases and industrial activity, global warming and feedback loops are a critical part for us. But what does this mean for us when we start thinking of, firstly, in Africa? We know that in Africa, we're one of the most vulnerable regions in terms of increased droughts and floods, but also in South Africa, if we bring this back home, we've been recently having a lot of water scarcity and agricultural stress. So what does this mean when we start thinking of higher education, and specifically programs like this for you at UNISA? We're really thinking about what solutions can our students start putting on the table. How do we think innovatively? How do we think beyond just coming to university to get information, but how do we start thinking of partnering with the institution to provide rich solutions for the African context? And when we start thinking more strategically about UNISA's and other higher education advancement in terms of technology, artificial intelligence, etc., these are progressive advancements that we are making as the world, as South Africa, as Africa. But what does the advancements in terms of the AI, for example, the AI implications on our environment, how does this actually impact our environment when we start thinking about the toll that it has on the environment? And more specifically, as we have in UNISA, with just over 350,000 students accessing technology, accessing AI, what does this mean for us as an institution? This is very critical for us because when we start talking about student digital resilience, we don't do it in isolation of the impacts that we make in our environment and our communities as well. So understanding the impact of climate change for us and finding solutions, rich African solutions to address the problems is one of the key deliverables for us as a project in ADOV. Secondly, when we start thinking of pathways to sustainability, we must start thinking about really thinking about what are the renewable energy, green transport, sustainable agriculture that we can explore. While we do explore, for example, at UNISA, particularly in this project, we're looking at innovations such as drone technology technology in agriculture, but how do we then bring the discussion of innovation into rich, robust discussions and debates on how universities can engage, for example, with key issues on agriculture and climate change and environments, right? We also think, for example, when you with higher education that is evolving into smart classrooms, solar powered classrooms, smart systems that I play. What does this have in terms of our impact in the institution? How do we even think beyond this in terms of smart irrigation systems at our university, biodegradable materials that we use? These are conversations that we must have as part of our university and as part of mega institutions of higher educations in the country. But what are the benefits of green technology and why are we advancing these particular issues? Low emissions, green jobs, community empowerment. These are conversations that we need to start taking seriously as we start advocating for climate change within higher education. Now, in terms of digital resilience, and this is an important part for us, when we think of digital resilience, we think of digital literacy, cybersecurity, and adaptability. But why students need this? Because when we start to access climate data, we combat misinformation, we combat issues relating to specifically of how the data of how our environments are impacted. Secondly, we need to start thinking about engaging in digital activism. So, for example, how can we as UNISA push a very strong global discourse on climate change, green technology, right from where you are? So think, for example, 350,000 students scattered throughout the world, UNISA students. And if you start mobilizing a discourse or a discussion on or an activist approach to climate change, we can make a major impact in Africa and on the world platform. We need to think strategically of how we leverage this. And when we start thinking of green tech as learning tools, we know that many of our students are living in different spaces. How do we start thinking of solar powered devices, climate apps, virtual labs to educate? And I see some of our colleagues that are from Microsoft with us and Sketco. These are discussions that we must start having. How do we think of simulated spaces to advance our knowledge? And this is what we talk about innovation in terms of student digital resilience. Now, when we think of youth innovation and young students emerging and participation, specifically when we're thinking of you as over 200 students that have gathered here, how do you lead? How do you start engaging student-led green initiatives? How do you start thinking of sustainable clubs, hackathons, outreach and programs, which we can support as an institution? We have key people here, one being Ms. Netma as well, who is very much vocal about this. How do we leverage this and leverage your support to engage on this? Digital storytelling and advocacy, and this is something that we need to think about more strategically as well. How do we work towards building social media posts, podcasts, blogs, global movements, using what we've got as an institution, using what you've got as students to create a much more stronger participation engagement. And then how do we start bringing in NGOs, startup mentorship, career pathways? These are things that is not new to UNISA. We are pushing these type of discussions. We are engaging with the mentorship programs with young people coming into the system, working with hackathons, etc. But how do we take this into a much more strategic part of our implementation? And this is what we want to see as part of this Model UN. And I know it has been an exciting initiative last year, and I'm looking forward to more innovation this year and more critical discussions around this. Then, fifthly, policy equity in the future. It's useless having all these innovations and having us educated if we don't start making an impact, even at a government level. So we need to start thinking of green tech access for all, bridging digital divide, inclusive design. We must think of policy recommendations and how we as an institution, how you as students can start driving policy recommendations in our country. We must think about the UN SDGs. One of the things that we report to as an institution is our UN SDGs, and this is critical for us because we will be evaluated on our impact to the SDGs itself. But how do we become universities as innovation hubs? One of the things that we push at as part of this program is to think outside of the box, is to think innovation. And what we would like for you to do is think climate change, think green technology, but think outside of the box, not just following, but leading in this space as UNISA students. And as my closing message, when we think of green technology, it's not just a tool, and we must move beyond that. We must see it as a bridge between innovation and equity. And as I mentioned earlier, innovation is key for us. So think innovation, think new. And empowering students to lead charge towards a sustainable and resilient future. We must think of you as leaders, and that is why I think you are all here today. Is not just to follow a path, but to lead this particular initiative. One of the important critical outcomes of the model UN is that it trains you with public engagement. It trains you with thinking critically. It trains you with voicing out your ideas, your opinions, and your thoughts. I've seen Mr. Keshav Gupta do this particular UN model across the country, across the globe, including some of the countries that are really struggling in terms of infrastructure. But there are young people that want to make a change, and we want to see what UNISA can bring to the table. So with that said, Program Director, we want to once again follow the platform that Prof. Makano has already set, to say we're really looking forward to some innovations, innovative ideas, thinking outside of the box, and how UNISA can advance this discourse within the country and globally. Thanks, Program Director.
All right, thank you, Dr. Chetty. That was excellent, and I hope this really warms you up, guys. I know it might be a little bit cold where you're at around the country, but yes, this is brilliant. This is exactly what we want you guys to really think about. And the great thing is, as you're going to see a little bit later in the program, there are students and young people getting involved all over the world. So if you want to know how to get to these people, how to share ideas, this is definitely the right course for you, because there's a lot of things that we're going to be doing. So, right, so next up is our keynote speaker, Mr. Devesh Gupta. Now, guys, you might be surprised when I read out this. So pay attention here. Listen to his experience, and you'll understand why we actually managed to get him on board for this keynote address for us. So Devesh Gupta is an educator, author, and facilitator working at the intersection of conscious education and governance. He's the founder of Emerge, a space for rethinking learning, leadership, and public policy by observing how fragmentation begins in the mind and how action can arise from the awareness rather than identity. He also plays a key role in the DS, which advances the Sustainable Development Goals through youth engagement, civic participation, and systems change. Devesh has led workshop sessions with institutions including OP Jadal Global University, the University of Toronto, Queen's University of Charlotte, the University of Malaya, the Indian Institute of Public Administration. He's also worked in the Indian Army, Air Force, and governments of Delhi, Haryana, and Gujarat. He co-founded the Spirituality, Science, and Public Policy Network to explore how inner transformation can inform systematic change. He's an author of The Internal Movement from 2024, published last year, an inquiry into consciousness, suffering, and the illusion of the self, and governance without the self, which he published this year, 2025, which critiques the reform systems thinking and institutional approaches that preserve the psychological self at the center. His academic work is under submission by the Routledge, Edgar Aguilar, and Emerald Publishing. He recently presented at the ICPP7 in Chiamia. Routine observation inquiry, Devesh's work brings perception, ethics, and responsibility into world systems and relationships. So I'm going to actually share his website with you guys, and I'm going to then hand over to Devesh to present. Thanks, Devesh.
Thank you, David. Good evening to the organizing team from UNISA and the dais, dear delegates and facilitators. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, loud and clear.
Let me begin by expressing my deepest thanks to the Academic Development Open Virtual Hub, the University of South Africa, the dais, for the opportunity to be here. I'd like to particularly acknowledge Mr. Keshav Gupta, whose leadership and friendship have shaped much of my own journey, as well as the broader organizing team, including Professor Denzel, Dr. Nathama, Mr. Richard Wright, and David, whose support and coordination have made this convening possible. We meet under a compelling theme: how green technology and artificial intelligence can accelerate climate action and community empowerment across Africa. But if we are to take this theme seriously, we must pause before we proceed. We must look carefully at the assumptions embedded in this framing. Terms like technology, empowerment, growth, and even Africa are not neutral. They carry histories shaped by colonization, development theory, digital capitalism, and aid politics. They carry a worldview, one where intervention replaces listening and power masks itself in the language of support. All of this reflects a deeper fragmentation of human consciousness. When we speak of empowerment, do we mean giving voice? Or are we still assuming someone must give it while others must receive? When we speak of technology, do we mean neutral innovation? Or are we continuing a logic that places human progress over planetary harmony, often for the benefit of the few? And when we speak of Africa, are we truly listening to the continent's diverse peoples, languages, and ecological wisdoms? Or are we, again, framing it as a passive recipient of the Western solutions? Even well-intended frameworks, whether in development, diplomacy, or design, can reproduce domination where the mind behind them is still operating from separation. The idea of community empowerment becomes performative when driven by a psyche rooted in control and not communion. And if these questions sound uncomfortable, they should. In this keynote, I will not attempt to offer quick solutions, but I will invite you to explore the deeper layers of the crisis. We will move in 5 parts. 1. Artificial intelligence. 2. Green growth. 3. Intelligence itself. 4th, the fragmentation behind the global crisis. And finally, what it means to act from clarity. Because Model UN is not just about simulating diplomacy. It is about learning to see how policies are shaped, how power moves, and how even our vocabulary can either sustain injustice or dissolve it. And the work ahead of you, whether as delegates, analysts, or thinkers, cannot begin from inherited models. It must begin from inquiry. Now let us turn to artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is everywhere, in agriculture, medicine, warfare, governance. It is used to monitor endangered species and to enable targeted assassinations. It powers humanitarian tools and surveillance states alike. But we must ask, what is artificial intelligence really? And what are we calling intelligence? Artificial intelligence is not intelligence at all. It is the function of memory, algorithm, and goal-directed processing. It cannot perceive. It cannot feel. It cannot love. It is clever, but not aware. AI is not dangerous because it is evil. It is dangerous because it is shaped by a mind that itself is fragmented, ambitious, and conditioned. So artificial intelligence is not really intelligent. It is algorithmic. It operates from a prior knowledge, cannot step outside its own programming, and has no capacity for discernment beyond the values we assign to it. It cannot negate itself. It cannot observe. It cannot see. Consider Gaza, where artificial intelligence has reportedly been used by military forces to generating rapid targeting decisions in densely populated civilian areas. Efficiency has increased, but so has civilian harm. The tool advanced. The mind behind it remained caught in ideology and fear. Or China, where artificial intelligence powers the architecture of a surveillance state, integrating facial recognition, biometric tracking, social credit systems. These systems claim to secure order, but when they secure and what they secure is obedience. They do not serve awareness, they serve control. So artificial intelligence is a mirror of the human self, a mechanical extension of thought, identity, and ambition. It is not sentient, but it replicates the pattern of a sentient species that has not yet understood itself. And that is the crisis. We often say that artificial intelligence lacks intelligence, but so do most humans, not in capacity, but in clarity. Intelligence is not memory or speed or predictive logic. Intelligence is awareness, the capacity to see the whole, to act without self-interest, and to respond from silence. AI cannot enter into silence. It cannot undo itself, but perhaps we can. We are now told that the future is green, green economies, green cities, green finance, green jobs. And yet, when we look closer, we see the same structures: extraction, inequality, and control, wrapped in eco-friendly language. To build electric vehicles and solar panels, we need rare earth minerals like the cobalt and lithium. Much of the world's cobalt comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo, where ecological devastation, child labor, and corporate extractions intersect. What is green for some is toxic for others. We push digital access and AI-driven development in Africa. But who owns the infrastructure? Who collects the data? Who profits from the platforms? When we celebrate community empowerment through blockchain or mobile apps, are we enabling local autonomy or inserting new dependencies? The deeper crisis is not technological, it is psychological. A mind conditioned by power will use even the greenest of tools to dominate. A mind driven by fear will use humanitarian language to control. And a mind rooted in separation cannot build wholeness. Even the concepts of circular economy still circle within this fragmentation. Hence, change is not the same as growth. True change is the ending of that which causes harm, not the improvement of the tools used to cause it. So we must ask, are we acting from clarity, or are we repackaging ambition in green branding? Let us now turn to the core question of what is intelligence. It is not cleverness, not knowledge, not the ability to win an argument or optimize a model. It is not memory, not accumulation of facts, not the storing or recalling of experiences. Intelligence is awareness, the capacity to see without distortion, to act without self-interest, to respond to the whole and not to a fragment. It is the harmony of intellect, emotion, and action as one movement, not divided across compartments or roles. We live in a world overflowing with brilliance: nuclear physics, climate science, artificial intelligence, global law. We have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Geneva Conventions, and countless agreements on peace and dignity. We know what's happening in Gaza, in Ukraine, in Sudan, in parts of Africa where suffering is beyond words. We speak of justice, of compassion, of humanity, and yet act when it suits our convenience, aligns with our self-interest, or protects our identity. This hypocrisy is not only visible in governance, it is within us. We speak of love, but collapse when we are uncomfortable. We speak of peace, but retaliate at the smallest hurt. We call for injustice, all justices of the world, while carrying our own biases in our hearts. If you do not change, nations will not, because society is nothing but our relationship, reflected at scale. We try to patch up entire fragmentation through knowledge. We create new syllables, new syllabi, new values, new declarations. We speak of integrating subjects, combining environment with economics, politics with psychology, but this too is often an illusion. You cannot integrate fragmentation into wholeness. You cannot separate or connect separate disciplines and expect harmony if the mind behind the connection remains fragmented, still chasing impact, reward, or reputation. And this brings us back to the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence also adjusts its behavior. So do we. It fine-tunes itself based on feedback. So do we. But whether it's a code or conditioning, if change is driven by cause, it's not real. It is performance. It is mechanical. And what is conditional is fragmented. AI is shaped by data. We are shaped by experiences, trauma, fear, ambition. Both operate through the known. But intelligence is not of the known. It is not born of memory. It is not born of ideology. It is not the result of a process. It is what remains when the entire self or this ego is absent. It is that light of perception that sees clearly and acts wholly without conflict. So true intelligence begins when all this thinking and the thought ends, when there is stillness and observation. That is why we say that AI can never be intelligent, but you can be, if you dare to see. So I hope that this Model UN is not just a stage for performance, but a mirror that shows you that not just this world's conflicts are going to end, but that requires the ending of your own conflict. And this will reveal not just in the policies, but in the consciousness from which you will act in the Model UN. Let me conclude by saying something and sharing something very personal. My journey began, like many of yours, in a Model UN. I was a curious undergraduate attending college sporadically, spending time with friends, not too worried about where life was headed. Then in 2012, my brother, Mr. Keshav Gupta, he invited me to a conference, and something shifted. At first, I was drawn to the performance, the speech, the structure, the suits. But somewhere during my second MUN, I stopped reading to win. I began to feel, to sense the pain beneath the policy, to see from the eyes of a country, and not only to see it from a country, but now to see it from the eyes of those who were suffering. That moment reshaped my life. In 2015, I joined the dais under Mr. Keshav Gupta, not only as a colleague, but as a student. What began as a journey into Model UN, public speaking, and project design deepened into something far more real: ethics, responsibility, the lived complexity of governance, education, and climate work, all across in the Himalayas, in Fiji, in Afghanistan. In 2017, I chaired a Security Council simulation in Kabul. One day, there was this boy who wouldn't make eye contact. I thought he was distracted, but he said, "Sir, I was shot twice in my neck by ISIS. I came here so you would listen. And when you go back, please just don't read, feel. Don't just know, act." Outside the same committee, a 7th grade girl was writing her position paper by hand. We told her gently, "You could skip it." She looked up and said, "Sir, Taliban destroyed our electricity. My uncle died last night in a blast. But I must write, because people in other countries win awards debating our suffering. And if we don't speak, what will they win their awards on?" And this is the dissonance I carry. And that is what has led me, not to more strategies or structures, but to a deep inquiry into perception. Eventually, I started Emerge, not as a traditional NGO or a startup, but as a space to explore the inner dimensions of change. Not tools, not replication, but transformation through silence, awareness, and right seeing. From this came Eternal Movement, the first book, later adopted at a university text and used to create a master's level course I was invited to design and teach. This inquiry further led me to understand how systems are working and how there is fragmentation beyond identities. Now, across all dimensions, there was only one question where we were constantly returning to. And the question was, what is the right thing to do now? Not from fear, not from habit, but from intelligence. And that is precisely why I am here, not as an expert, not as a guide, but as the same boy who sat in these chairs, who once thought that performance was power and cleverness was enough. I am now here to share what I have seen, the mistakes I have made, the crises I encountered, so maybe you don't repeat them. Because this is not an ordinary moment in history. We are living through a polycrisis, a situation where multiple interconnected crises are happening at once and intensifying each other. And climate change is not a future threat, it is already here. But what makes this urgent is not just the rising temperatures, it's the fact that we are approaching certain planetary tipping points. These tipping points are the thresholds in the Earth system, like polar ice caps, coral reefs, or the Amazon forest, which one crossed could lead to irreversible damage. Now, lately, according to recent scientists like Johann Rockström, we have already crossed 6 of the 9 planetary boundaries that define a safe space for humanity. This includes biodiversity loss, land degeneration, and chemical pollution. These aren't just statistics or just names. These are signals that the Earth's life support system is destabilizing. And at the same time, we face economic inequality, ecological collapse, technological disruption, mental health crisis, and violent conflict. This is what some of us call as the meta-crisis, the crisis behind the crisis. Not just external problems, but the inner fragmentation of how we think, relate, and act. In such a time, we do not have the luxury of delay. We need urgent action, but not blind action. Not more clever plans built on the same fragmented thinking. We need right action, rooted in clarity, compassion, and wholeness. And right action cannot come from fear. It cannot come from identity. It must come from intelligence. So I ask you, in a world of urgency, complexity, and confusion, can you act from clarity? Not from your country, not from your trauma, not from your ambition, but from intelligence. The kind that sees without distortion and acts without division. This event will teach you many things: procedures, diplomacy, research, negotiation. But intelligence cannot be taught. It can only awaken when you begin to see for yourself how your thought creates conflict, how your fear shapes behavior, and how identity limits perception. And even if one of you begins to see, not as a concept, but directly, then something irreversible begins, not as a career, but a life aligned with wholeness. Because you are not here to succeed in a broken system. You are here to see clearly, to love wholly, and to act from that wholeness. And then everything else can follow. Thank you. Thank you, David.
Thank you so much, Devesh. Much appreciated. And I loved what you said there. You took a chance and you made a difference. And that's really what we want to do, guys. And that's why we're having this work. And that's why we're working at this time of night as well for you to benefit, is to really give you that opportunity to make a difference wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, but to really put your footprint in the cycle of life. So that was awesome. Thank you so much, Devesh. Please also check in the chat, guys. We did put in the link for the website, and go look at Devesh's work and all the things that he's been doing. I think it's really, really useful and important for you, just to give you some ideas of what potentially you could do as well. Right, now, as with Adolf, guys, if this is your first time with Adolf, please note, we love to have competitions. So yes, we've got a competition for you this evening. I hope it's sharing, because I know sometimes teams can do that. Richard, is it sharing?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, thank you, Richard. We just want to make sure sometimes it disappears and it does its own thing. So we've got a competition for you guys, very easy to enter. We've just got a simple question for you to answer, right? Once you've completed this MOOC, and today I'm hoping you are committed to completing the MOOC, because you can just heard from Devesh what an impact it can really make for you. What will you do with the knowledge you have learned to make the world a better place for all? That's the question. Now, we'll announce the winners right at the end, and we're actually going to use AI, yes, AI, to actually see who the winner is. So, guys, there is the bit.ly link. We'll put it in the chat as well. If you do have 2 devices, you can quickly scan the QR code, but we will put the link in the chat. So think about the answer. Don't let AI write the answer for you, but think about it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to do this course, you're going to put the time and the effort in. What are you going to do with this knowledge that you're going to learn? So that is the question we are asking you. All right, so without further ado, let's continue. I will put this. What is the first thing you need to do? Well, the easy part is you need to get to the MOOC course, right? If you haven't done this before, or maybe you just need a refresher, I'm going to ask Richard Wright to actually show you guys where to find the course and how to log in. And then, well, you can start engaging the materials already. Over to you, Richard.
Thank you, David. Let me just share on my side. Okay, students, so the first thing you need to do is visit the site, My Student Skills Hub. So it's very easy to access. You can actually just search for ADOVH or even My Student Skills Hub. So I'm just going to do it, My Student Skills Hub, UNISA, type that in, and it should be the first one that appears on the page. So once you click on it, we'll post a direct link in the chat as well, so you can easily find it. But this will open up the My Student Skills Hub. So you'll notice the URL is a bit different. It's adovh.unisa.ac.za. So please visit it. It's on the official UNISA platform, And this is where we host quite a lot of support, how can I say, modules for you. So once you access this page, it's very important before you continue is to log in. So you can do this very easily at the top right. You can click on log in. Now, most of you might be, how can I say, already UNISA students. There might also be some of you that's externally from UNISA. So I'm going to show you both ways to do it. So firstly, if you are not a UNISA student, that means you do not have a My Life UNISA account. You can click on No. And then you can scroll down here and actually create an account with your email. So very easy. If you are not a UNISA student, you can still participate. You just scroll down, select No, and then scroll down to create a new account. And all you basically need is to select the username, preferably use your email address, and then you just select a strong password to create an account. And obviously you also have to verify that you're not a robot. That's for all the AI bots out there. And then the other way, if you are currently a UNISA student or staff member, you can just click on yes, and you log in with your My UNISA account. So that will be your My Life email address. So that's your student number at mylife.unisa.ac.za. It will the first time ask you, if you want to get a PIN by text or if you want it emailed to you. So I'm just going to get the verification code over here. These days, they actually use WhatsApp quite a lot. So just make sure that you have WhatsApp open as well in case it does send it to WhatsApp. So as you can see, log in with your My Life email address and password. Remember, they are always synced up as well. And then from here, you can now start accessing the course. So all you need to do is if you scroll down, you just search for Model UN. And this will open up the courses where it's listed. So you'll notice here it's STU-501 Model United Nations. Now, the first time you're going to access it, it's going to ask you to enroll. So all you need to do is click on the big blue enroll button, and then you're ready to go. So I'm actually going to copy this link for you in the chat. People on YouTube, I will post it in the chat there as well, just after this, so that you know how to access it as well very easily. So on this page, once you get started, it navigates exactly like My UNISA. You'll notice we've got the menu on the left for quick navigation, but please work through all the materials sequentially so that you can gain as much, experience from it as possible or knowledge from it during your journey. So get started, read what it's about, read what you're going to be learning in this unit, what is the outcomes that you're going to achieve through this. Very important for this as well is for answering that question that we just posted. So work through all of these activities, introduce yourself to the community. This is going to be a very active community where you're going to basically do a Model UN, as I will describe later, exactly everything that you will experience during this journey. And through this, you will actually gain so much knowledge, not just on how the UN works, on climate action. You'll also learn some AI skills and various technology skills as well. So this is all part of, giving you the creative skills, the critical thinking skills that will make you successful in the future. Especially now in this AI world that we're living in. So please come and do an introduction, post on others as well, so that you can really start create this community that we want to create on here. So on the announcements, we will, post as we now get started with the next events. So also always just have a look, what is the latest announcement? Obviously, you can also subscribe to the forum, so you will get it in your emails as well. Now, there is quite a few things that I just want to highlight. First is the reflective journal. This is something that you can actually use throughout the course to reflect on how you experience it, maybe some things that you learned, maybe just put some thoughts down. But also very importantly, pre-course assessment. please complete this. This is the first thing that you really need to do before you delve into the content. Now, the pre-course assessments are set up in a way that it gives you feedback, basically your understanding of various topics. Then you'll notice at the end, as you work through all the content, we'll have a post-course assessment as well. And once you get to the post-course assessment, that's actually when you realize, wait, this is all the skills that I've learned or new knowledge I gained through this experience. So please make sure you do the pre and post-course assessments, and then also finally the evaluation form. So as you might see here, it looks quite a lot, but it's actually broken down in very, very small bits. And you will actually, as we go through the activities, you will gain all the information that is in here. But please work through the material so that you can, how can I say, make sure that you complete the activities. Because remember, one thing we want to highlight with this course, this is a co-curricular activity. So this means if you're going to complete it, and you do the final assessment, what you will actually get is a transcript at the end of the year from UNISA listing all the co-curricular activities you've completed. And that's something you can print out and add to your CV already. So that's why we really push these type of interventions from ADOVH, because there are co-curricular activities and it is something that you are going to get an official transcript for that you can already use to apply for various work opportunities. But yes, so I'll post the links in the chat now so that everybody can have access directly to the course. So please enroll along, introduce yourself so we can get the community started. Thank you, David.
All right, so there we go, guys. Thank you, Richard. So that is the site, and we will share everything with you. So if you did miss it, or the guys on YouTube, not a problem. We'll be sharing all the links and everything. I've got a nice package that I'll send out to your email addresses. So it's quite important that you please check. I just wanted to remind you guys that the competition, there we go. That is the prize for tonight. It's a really cool earbuds, and they work really, really well. So if you like that type of thing, there is a prize that's coming at the end of the session. So we'll have them winner at the end of the session, guys. We're not going to carry it over. So there we go. All right, so next up, guys, so now we've had a look at see where is the course. Now next up is one of our students who actually completed the course and presented at last year's or this year's summit in the beginning of the year. So I'm going to welcome Mr. Fiesa Obera to come and tell you guys his experiences and what did he learn from the MOOC. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. David. Hello, everyone. I am Faisa Oluma Abarra from Ethiopia. Currently, I'm a LLD student at University of South Africa, Department of Mercantile Law. I am specifically studying IP and particularly how intellectual property can be used in development. I hope I'm audible, Mr. David.
Yes, loud and clear. Go for it.
Thank you. So thanks to UNISA for giving us this ample opportunity to have course on free, and particularly I would like to thank the ADOV team for the course Model UN, and particularly the DIAS expert teams for facilitating the course by their expertise. And I would like to thank both the institutions, individuals participated in there. So first of all, I was interested in the UN model course because it simulates how the United Nations activities is done, how countries come together, negotiate, argue things, and make international laws. And as I mentioned, I was studying about intellectual property and related to development, which has part of property mixed with politics, with the where negotiation are expected, arguing is expected. And particularly, I wanted to know how rules made by World Intellectual Property, that is a specialized agency of UN, are made, how countries are negotiated in making World Trade Organization rules, how World Health Organization makes rules, and other environmental related negotiations are made at international level. So my primary objective was to know how things are done. I know the laws, I know the things on the ground that works for intellectual property, for development, UN rules, but I wanted to know how actually these rules, these laws are made. So after I joined the course, I found the course beyond my expectation, and particularly I was expecting a normal teaching and learning process, as we have been doing, whether it is online or face-to-face. But what I found there is not just a transfer of knowledge, not just knowing something. It's where skills are equipped. Sometimes it seems if we are actually together, debating together, arguing on things, negotiating on things, and thanks to the facilitators, it seems if we are physically together, making things together, and it equips with relevant knowledge, relevant expertise on how to internationally negotiate, and having a stand of your own country, your own interests, which means especially when it comes to global south, when the participants learn a sense of standing together and are negotiating together, creating alliances, having a common interest, setting a common interest with the countries, and strategically arguing to get what they said. So normally it triggers to be part in the negotiation. The skills, the knowledge learned there triggers to be part of the negotiation. And after we finalize the course, I have get an opportunity to participate on the climate summit, as Mr. David have mentioned earlier, during the early days of this year, around February. So the program and summit become aligned for me personally. It gives me a chance that we have been practicing in the classroom to exercise it at international, maybe the simulation of international arena. It actually exactly looks like as if we are in United Nations room, and it was highly interactive, highly full of debate, and there was active engagement. Everyone in the room, like if we are standing for the country, I remember I was a delegate for Indonesia, and anytime I appear in the summit, I feel like I'm an Indonesian, not just an Indonesian, a patriot Indonesian. And every student there who were on the summit were arguing fiercely as if they are national of the country they are representing, not just a citizen, a patriot citizen, and nobody was left behind. The facilitators were touching everywhere, and actually the system for the negotiation, the summit, gives the way for that. Everyone will have a introductory speech. Everyone will have speech on each and every point that are to be raised, and it is really interesting. It's very, very interesting. I wish I will have a lot of such chances in a year, maybe twice, and etc. So it mimics a sense of arguing for your position, especially when you are from global south, from the third world country, from Africa and from Latin Americans, Sub-Saharan Africans, etc., etc. It creates a sense of arguing, negotiating for your stand, for interest of your country, and that was really interesting. And I remember it looks like a real fight. There were delegates who were actually angry for their stand, for their point of argument, and then who were really angry and who were that creates a deep sense of belongingness, not just a course, not just a summit. It creates a sense of belongingness for the interest we are standing. Things I take away from both from the climate summit and from the Model UN course. The first thing is friendship of individuals who were together in the course and in the summit. That's a huge asset. Discussing together, learning things from each other. We have been not just learning from the course and from the facilitators, we have been learning from each other, and that's a good asset from our friends and creating friendship. We have acquired knowledge. I have acquired a knowledge. I've taken away a knowledge from the course and from the summit. We have acquired necessary skills, how to argue, how to negotiate, and how to give and take. That's a process. Like negotiation, the summits are actually the whole UN system is based on giving and taking between the countries. And most importantly, I hope all of us, but I can tell about mine, we have created a sense of global community membership. That is something bad may happen is for the global community, for everyone. That should be the point of negotiation and the point of argument. And finally, we have certificates for both the course and for participation on the summit. And that's all on my part. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, Pete. Guys, as you can see, all the way from Ethiopia. Yes, we actually have UNISA in Ethiopia and quite frankly, all over the world. So guys, wherever you're studying, you might find a UNISA student. All right, so now you've heard from the participants from this year. Now we're going to say, okay, great. So then who is the facilitator that we were actually referring to? And Dr. Chetty has, Biesa has. So who is this person? And his name is Kashraf Gupta, guys. So Kashraf is very much dedicated to promoting the UN Sustainable Development Goals by empowering youth to effective positive change. He has received the Global Green Schools Award at the UNGA Climate Action Week in New York City and the Rex Camera Award for the United Nations. He has also advised model UN programs to top Indian institutions, including IIT Delhi, IIM Bangalore, Government of Delhi, US Embassy, New Delhi, United Nations Youth Associations Network, Geneva, National Academy of Customs and Narcotics, and National Youth Parliament hosted by the UNDP. So quite a lot of things he's involved in, guys. So this is the person who is going to be your facilitator. He's led many projects across the country and across the world. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Kashraf, who is going to introduce himself. Over to you, Kashraf.
Thank you, David. And let me just say hello to everyone who's joined the call today. And and it'll be great if we can see in the chat to all our friends, what is this one or two things that you think are so important that we want to have our youth voices out. So it'll be great to see in the chat if you want to say hello to me and to all of us, and just share a little bit on what your thinking is. While you do that, let me just firstly thank Denzel and the entire team of UNISA Adov for this beautiful journey of actually just my own I'd say passion, and realizing my passion, and that is that young people are not the leaders of tomorrow, but they are the leaders of today. Their voices, their leadership, their actions are critical to all of you. Your actions are absolutely critical to finding the solutions in the present. Now let me just put, and for that, I had the wonderful opportunity to visit South Africa. I'm speaking to you from New Delhi, and if you see behind me in my background, there are my friends from Edendale near Pietermaritzburg, where I met these wonderful children in my visit. And during that time, Denzel and I connected, and I think that's been one of the most powerful moments for all of us in taking this course forward 2 years on. Now, when we started this idea for Model UN, we usually see Model UN takes place in a in-person setting, but I think UNISA, with experts like David, like Richard, have managed to actually bring it on the Adobe platform, which I personally find as a great way of leveraging technology to bring youth voices out. So again, it's been a true learning journey for me as well in transitioning this activity of Model UN. And so that's one thing. Now I'm and thank you so much for everyone for continuing to address these issues. I think all of these, when we start looking at them, whether it's skill development, education, genocide, equity, equality, peace, I'd say climate change and AI, all of them are so deeply interconnected in finding solutions, and you can't find the solution for one thing or the without the other. So this is where an MUN, a Model UN, and this MOOC is going to equip you with understanding how to research, how to frame your arguments in a way diplomats do, and how do you take an argument and turn it into a policy, and then negotiate that policy with each other. And I think that is something that is very powerful about this MOOC, because whatever you learn from here, you can use it in your careers, in your local voices that need to go out in the community. You can stand up for people in your family, in your classrooms, and in your in just around you as well, because that action is what makes eventually the global action as well. Now I think this MOOC, Denzel, if I say, comes at a very, very critical time, because this year we are just 1 month away, quite literally, from the UN General Assembly, which is facing a genuine crisis of trust right now. People need to come together, but they are only moving apart. So the message that comes out of this MOOC and our eventual Model UN that will be led by all of you, I think it's an important lesson for to be learned for diplomats, that if we can all come together from different parts of the world, so they can also try that. Maybe it's a good idea. And the same thing is right now South Africa is going to be is now already right now the host of the G20 this year. So South Africa will see a lot of diplomatic dialogues happening across the country, I'd say, in different venues. And one of the tracks there, I always say, is the youth track. So this, I believe, equips you in case you are able to find opportunities to engage with G20 and actually have your voice heard. So that is about the MOOC, and I think when we started the conversations, this chat turned out to be our biggest tool. And I remember my friend who just spoke before me. He was always very passionate in sharing and questioning and raising his doubts. And we had such wonderful sharing from so many powerful speakers. And Professor Makano talked about this month being the Women's Month. So let me extend my wishes to everyone. And I must recall and from the last year, that the most powerful voices we had were also the girls and the women from joining from different parts of Africa and Asia, for that matter, and sharing. So it's been a tremendous learning journey for me as well, while we have done that. Have had these dialogues with all of you, and your sharing and your ideas are the most important for us. So this is what I think each of you and each young person holds a promise and a vision for the world. And this is one of the ways in which we can learn to craft the vision and take it to a policy level or a governance level. And finally, I think I can share with you. Denzel mentioned that I work around the world with Model UN initiatives. The hardest thing that everyone I have met who find in an MUN is simply agreeing with the other person and collaborating. So that if you are able to create agreements and if you are able to be together, as my friend had said before me, I think that puts the United in the United Nations, because that united is very, very important moving forward in the times of polycrisis, as Devesh had talked about. Uh, David, if I just want to end my discussion quickly with just showing you a few pictures very quickly. David thought it's a good idea, so I've compiled them from my journey from being a young delegate at the age of 18 to where I am today. I just want to take you through a few of those images, if possible. David, do we have those?
Yes, there we go. I'm sharing it at the
All
minute.
right. Yes, so this is me finally. Once I transformed myself through the MUN journey at the actual UN COP. We actually conducted a whole workshop for civil society during that time. So I got whatever I learned in an MUN, I was able to implement directly at the UN COP. David, next, please. This is at the US Embassy when the Deputy Secretary of State had visited and they had invited the civil society leaders from who are working in the climate space. And whatever I learned as a delegate is something that I eventually managed to implement here. So I just want to tell you that between the journey as a delegate here and to diplomacy is very short. Next, please.
Kashif, just give me a second. I think I jumped from the one image to the other. Let me quickly share it this way around. I think it'll be better. Okay, so there's that beautiful background of yours. So let me just get to that next picture.
This is for, yeah, and now this is us. This is me with Ela Gandhi, at Maritzburg, and we were celebrating Gandhiji's transformation and that most important day, 130th anniversary. So you see that you're able to move forward. This is in Nepal during the earthquake time. The previous image, if I can very quickly show, yeah, okay. So all these are from different parts of the world where I've been basically able to, actually go on the field, and whatever I've learned in MUN, I'm able to go out there and do it. This is another relief work during the Nepal earthquake. So I've seen that what you learn in MUN, this is, I think, one of my favorites with Reverend Busak this year couple of years ago. And again, this is what I'm trying to say, and this was with the United Nations Security Council President and President Obama's advisor Samantha Power. So it is, I think that all of these are to just show you that. And we are here today, you and I, all of us are friends today here, and we will be working together in the coming time. So I just want to tell you that I'm not coming from a place of, like preaching from a far person. I am coming from a place where I have been that very scared person in an MUN to actually speaking at the high level forums and actually sitting with the UNGA president, UN Security Council president. All of it is possible. The only thing that we need to do is take the next step. That means do the rigor, take the long hours of research, and be passionate about these issues. So that's all my expectation is, and I ended up making great friends in the course. A lot of students became my friends. We are now on Instagram, LinkedIn together. So I look forward to making friends with all of you, and I hope to see you at the course in a few days. And once again, let me just thank from our organization, the entire UNISA and ADOV team for their trust and faith in us. And I think this is just a starting. there's so much more to do in the world together. So thank you, Denzel and team. David, over to you.
Thanks, Kashraf. And yes, guys, there were so many images, guys. I think we'd be until tomorrow if I had to go through all of them. So Kashraf has got a wealth of experience. Now, you guys have got the opportunity to engage with Kashraf for the rest of this month. We're going to basically be busy twice in a week, and we'll share that with you. We'll send out reminders as well. So please do join. Be committed to this Model UN because it will benefit you. All right, so now here comes the next item. If you have never done a hackathon before, here's an opportunity to try something new. And we are going to be speaking to Vivian Ladner, who is going to talk to us about the code, the climate hackathon. And you're going to see why it's so important. So if you've never done this before, or you want to get to something that's coming up next, have a look at what's coming up after this, the Imagine Cup competition. So in the back of your mind, listen to what Vivian's going to explain to you, how this is going to work, how we're going to support you, because there's something much bigger, life-changing that's coming up after her. So over to you, Vivian.
Gee, thank you so much. And again, thank you, Prof. Makano, Dr. Chetty, Richard, David, for having us. I think we're part of this adult family with regards to participation in online events and face-to-face events. And this would be our third hackathon with UNISA as well. I'd just like to introduce my team that's on the call. Ryan Gallis is on the call. We have Paige Osmond on the call and Candace and Kono on the call as well. And they will be assisting and helping to facilitate on the hackathon. I'm going to just share my screen, and if we were playing bingo, you would be able to catch everything. So we've created a website, and the hackathon will be done through this website, and Ryan will post the link in the chat for us. You will come into the AI Skills Navigator website, and yes, we're lucky to have the code, the climate picture on the front as we go into this, and you will see over here we have a tab called Code the Climate Hackathon. You will click on it and it will bring you to this front page. On the front page, it will give you a bit of a blurb when the hackathon is going to start until when it's going to run, and you will click to start your journey. Now, to kick off your journey, you are going to need to do a prerequisite. And this is just giving you some information on what it is. And yes, this is group work. So you can, as those communities that Dr. Chetty mentioned earlier, within the MOOC, you can work together on the hackathons, and we suggest that you do that. So yes, you're going to need to use the Microsoft education tools that are available, and we will share a list. So you will use things like Azure, you will use GitHub and the GitHub Copilot stuff that is available to you. You will use the free Copilot version that's sitting here actually on the right-hand side of my screen. You will access through your Microsoft 365 licensing that you have available to you if you are a UNISA student. Please use your My Life accounts. If you are an external person, if you have a work account, that's a Microsoft account, please use that. If you are joining from an institution that you don't have Microsoft accounts, please create yourself an Outlook account, because you get access to things like the free Copilot. You will get access to PowerPoint as well, because you would need to submit your hackathon on a PowerPoint presentation. Let me just move this quickly. When you're in the section and you click to get started, it will take you to just a couple of the terms and conditions. And you would be able to enter as a team of 4, like I mentioned. And the hackathon opens officially on the 11th of August. I think that's important to remember, because it will run concurrently with your MOOC as well. and then we will have you submit your hacks by the 12th of September. And on the 12th of September, the ADOF team and our team will go into the judging for a week. We're hoping to receive as many entrants as what we have online, and earlier we were almost 220 people online. Pardon me. So we're hoping to have a lot of entrants for this online, and it will be judged during this time, and we will then announce the top 10 as well as the top 3. Yes, there will be prizes, and we will, as we go along, there will be short little bursts of information that is being shared by our team. One of the things that we do want to share with you is that if you log in over here, it's going to ask you to log in with your username and password, or with your username, it's going to ask for some personal details. These details will be going to ADOF, so it will be safe and secure in the UNISA environment. One of the prerequisites that you're going to have to do before you will actually get access to the hack, as well as the rubrics within the hackathon, is the Microsoft Sustainability course. Now, Ryan will stick this in the chat for us as well. It's just an hour and 8 minutes long, so pretty quick. Our young intern Candace actually did it this morning at the office, and she actually, in the knowledge check, she got all the questions right, which means she got 100% for it. So yes, you then just go through this, and I will quickly share with you what it would look like. So there's the introduction, there's concepts of sustainability, the Microsoft sustainability journey. And I think this is also quite important to understand that from a big tech giant like Microsoft, they've committed to have a zero carbon footprint by 2035. That is a massive endeavor, considering AI is growing so dramatically, and more data regions, AI data regions have to be created, or data centers have to be created to keep all the AI information that is being created. So that means more power, and they're looking into all of those kind of sustainability requirements to bring that carbon emission down. Then you have sustainability managers. So this becomes quite technical for you, using Microsoft Copilot to be able to manage this sustainability, a well-architected infrastructure. And then obviously there's a knowledge check. When you complete this knowledge check, you will receive a badge. You will receive this badge. And this badge then you will upload for us on the Microsoft Skills Navigator. You will upload that, and that will take you to the next step to get access to your rubric to complete or to start your hackathon. Obviously, find your friends, doesn't matter where they are. They could all be, you could all be from the same province, or you could be internationally working together. So please remember that you are to do this as group work. One of the things that Dr. Chetty mentioned earlier, and I'm just going to share the information with you as well, is that, he was talking about how do you grow NGOs, what can be done for startups and so forth. Now, Microsoft actually has the Microsoft N not-for-profit program available. All right, and you can go and check your eligibility if you have an NGO, and you will actually get access to some free Microsoft licensing, to some free Microsoft Cloud, and some of the other tools that are available as well. And yes, if you were to purchase anything Microsoft related, it's at very reduced prices. So the Microsoft NGO program for your startup or so forth, this is where you would come. We were talking and about sustainability and agriculture and so forth. There is, Ryan, and if you can just stick this one in the chat as well. There is a program that was developed specifically for students around farm bees, agriculture, about sensors, data analysis, and obviously using artificial intelligence. And this is just something to let you see what is possible. And yes, this says that this course is suitable for grade 9s and up, but trust me, the information that comes out of here and the program overview and so forth is just very, very insightful. So please go and have a look at this. This does give you some information that you can, and additional resources that you can go and use. So I don't know if there's any questions right now in the chat. Let me quickly go to the chat. No questions. Does anybody have a question maybe? This is very interesting. We're glad to hear that. Yes, so the badges are great for your CV. So any of the Microsoft courses that you do on Microsoft Learn, they are free. You do not, they are not charged for. Sorry, I just want to go there so I can stop sharing. There we go. So the courses are not charged for. If you wanted to write a certification like using Azure Fundamentals or AI Fundamentals, you would need to pay to write that exam. One of the things I just want to show you, if we go back here is some terms and conditions of the hackathon, the T's and C's. Please read through them, understand the dates, understand your prerequisites, and so forth as well. And if you scroll right to the bottom, where the fun print is, no, I'm joking, right to the bottom, sure, you will actually get access to some of the privacy statements of the Microsoft things, and then also which tools you are able to use. Yes, please make sure that you use the Microsoft tools, because one of the criteria within the rubric is to see which Microsoft tools you have used. You can go and use other tools as well. Please just mention them, but Microsoft needs to be the focus. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vivian. Much appreciated. So there we go, guys. So that is your first step, right, in understanding how a hackathon works. It will give you a good experience. And the reason why we really wanted you guys to do this is an additional activity, guys. So it's something extra beyond the MOOC this year. It's the first time we're actually doing it. Is because there's another competition that's coming up, which is a global one, and it's run by Microsoft. So then I want to actually introduce the person who's going to then speak to us about this awesome opportunity. Bianca Strubeck from Microsoft, over to you. Let's wow the audience.
Thanks, David. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, and good evening, everyone. Yeah, really excited to share this opportunity with you, and I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen and then tell you a little bit more about this exciting opportunity. Look, the hackathon that Vivian just presented is absolutely incredible. So I would say please go for it, because what we often see is students coming to Microsoft saying, you know, I have a degree, but what will make me different from someone else applying for the same role as me? Now, something like the hackathon, something like that experience will absolutely put you in a different bracket. And the Microsoft Learn courses that Vivian mentioned, those are the things that can put you on another level. And like David mentioned, something really exciting that is coming up. It's been done yearly. It's called the Microsoft Imagine Cup. So hopefully you can all see my screen. I'll just briefly go over what this is all about and give you some, some guidance on how to get started and what to do next if you should be interested. This is a global competition, so think about competing against students worldwide. This is how big this is. And it is, like I have mentioned, it's a yearly competition, and the prizes are absolutely phenomenal. So what is the Imagine Cup competition. Now, what you see in front of you is the official website for the Imagine Cup, and I will share that in the link in the chat with you as well, to go through and see and get a bit more information. And now here's a great video, which I won't play for you tonight because it's about 14 minutes, just over 14 minutes. So, but go ahead and have a look at that. This is a highlight of the World Championship. So you'll see Hair Match, Signverse, and Argus. These are the 3 teams, the student teams that won the last year's one. Absolutely brilliant. So you'll see that the winners were Team Argus, and there's just a little bit of information about what they have done. And the Imagine Cup is all around students. So you have to be a student 18 and above, 18 and older. You can enter pretty much like a hackathon, but you can enter with your team from 1. So you can be 1 member all the way up to 4 members. Now, if you are a student and you have a startup idea, so tech startup idea, so you have a business idea, but you don't know where to start, you don't know where to go with it, this is the place for you to go to. So the students here, as you'll see, as I'll scroll down as well, they all had a startup or tech idea, a tech startup idea, a tech company, or something that they want to get started, get off the ground, and they have entered the Imagine Cup competition. Now, the first place or the winners for the 2025 World Champion was from the United States of America, and they were Team Argus. As you can see, there are only 2 members, but they invented, or their idea was, a 2-part wearable device powered by Azure AI Speech and Azure AI Foundry. So this device was really designed for individuals with low vision. So it offers object detection, facial recognition, and spatial guidance to help users navigate the world. So that was what their invention or their startup idea was for. Now you'll see as I scroll down to show you the second and the third place, or the runners up, they also had an idea around how to leverage AI to make a difference in the world. So you'll see here on the left-hand side is another one from the USA. So they're called Hair Match. So they have created a personalized mobile app for women with textured hair. So their app is powered by Azure AI Foundry. So it analyzes your hair type to provide you tailored product recommendations, hairstyle guides, and expert hair care tips. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see all the way from Africa, all the way from Rwanda, you'll see Signverse. So what they have, their startup idea is an app, or is a solution that bridges communication gaps for the deaf community with real-time speech, text, and sign language translation. So as you can see, brilliant ideas and really exciting. You can be next. But I won't go into more details of the finalists. There's more finalists. Go have a look, click on that button, and go see what it is all about. And you'll meet the judges here. And really great, something that I will also highly recommend is for you to join the student Discord community. Now, you'll see you don't have to enter the Imagine Cup competition to be part of the student community. So you can join the Discord community and you can connect with students from all over the world. Maybe you'll want to reach out to other students and say, hey, I have this startup idea. If anyone wants to join me and enter the Imagine Cup, please get in touch, you know, that kind of thing. So you can connect with students globally and see if you can find someone from another university or another country, maybe. You are more than welcome to do that as well. Now, I just want to highlight the competition schedule, but this is for last year. So just keep in mind that the dates that you see here will be updated for this year. But just to give you an indication of what kind of timeline we're looking at. So last year, around about the end of October, the students had to submit their optional idea. So what this is all about, you start your journey by structuring your idea. So you use the Lean Canvas framework, and then you structure your idea. So by November, all the way to the end of January, around about the end of January, you have to submit your minimum viable product submission. And then we have Feb and March, we have semi-finals, and the World Championships this year was held on May the 19th, 2025. So that's just a guideline. Look, the dates will change a bit to accommodate the new dates for 2026, but just to get you an idea of, the timeline. If you're still not convinced and you need some more inspiration, there's a link that you can go and you can go see the world champion. You can meet them and dive a little bit deeper into, what they have submitted and why they are the winners. So why compete? And again, I will share this link with you in the chat for you to go get some more information. So if you compete and if you submit or be part of this global tech competition, you get access to AI technology. So you get free access to industry-leading AI services and essential tools that you will need to build your startup or to start your startup. So if that's not enough, you'll get mentorship and guidance. So you'll get one-on-one coaching from Microsoft experts. So they will work with you and say, yes, I like your idea. Maybe let's work a little bit on this, or maybe let's do a little bit on do that. So that happens throughout the competition, even before. So once you enter the competition, that guidance will start. And then very big prizes is up for grabs as well. So there's cash prizes, and that cash prize can really help you to get your startup up and going. And then you'll get the mentorship and obviously the opportunity to put your startup on the global stage at Microsoft Build. And that gives you international exposure. So absolutely brilliant. And there's just an overview of the prizes that you'll get. And then lastly, the last thing that I wanted to focus on, so as you can see at the top here, you'll see there's a link or tab for winners, start learning. So it will take you straight through to Microsoft Learn, and it will get you going with the AI fundamentals, the AI, everything you need to know in order to get started with this competition or to get to sign up for this competition. So there's your student hub for Microsoft Learn. But the last thing that I want to show you, because I'm sure you might have a lot more questions, what do I need to do? Where do I go? And more. So FAQ, questions and answers, frequently asked questions. What do I need to participate in the Imagine Cup? I've already mentioned that you have to be 18 and above, and you can create any solution that you are passionate about. You'll see some people create solutions around healthcare, the environment. It's really all up to you, but you have to include at least one Microsoft AI service. And then you'll see that there is a link to the official rules. So you can click on that and you can see all the rules there highlighted quite nicely for you. So it will give you all the information that you need. And then, as I have mentioned, you can have a maximum of 4 members and you must all be students. So you have to be registered at a university or at a educational institution in order to participate in this competition. And you'll see that there are some more. There's Discord submissions should include a pitch deck. There's a recorded pitch and a demo video. Everything that you need to submit. There's how to get started, and then it goes into a lot more detail. How do I register? And if you have any questions and I haven't answered them for you tonight, please go ahead and go click on this and you'll see, there's your preparation and submission. What are the submission requirements, and everything that you need to know is here. But David, if any of the students are interested and they need a little bit more information, I'd be more than happy to do an additional session and dive into a little bit more detail, because I know our time is very limited tonight. But if any student is really excited about this and they want more information or maybe just to connect, I'm more than happy to do that with the students as well. But yeah, hopefully this really excites you tonight. And hopefully we can see some winners from South Africa. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Bianca. That would be awesome if one of our that would be just amazing. Imagine we meet someone here today and they actually end up winning it. That would be brilliant. But thank you so much for sharing. And there we go, students. In life, if you're playing soccer and you don't shoot, you don't score the goals. So yes, we will have follow-up sessions also for the hackathon as well. The first one we introduced, the Code the Climate, just to help you guys, just to get you on board, just to understand what's expected and how it all unfolds, because it might be very new to you. So yes, we will definitely have separate sessions for this, as well as one of the activities that we are going to be putting through this year. All right, so without further ado, I know we're a little bit behind schedule, but I'm sure you guys are enjoying this session. I'm just going to hand over to Nathma Semi, who's going to speak to you about the Global Voices Climate Summit that's happening in the last week of September, where again, you'll have some wonderful opportunities to present yourselves and to be applying the knowledge that you're going to use in the MOOC to actually to draft a resolution. So the really practical hands-on experience. So over to you, Nathma.
Thank you so much, David. Evening, everybody. And I think I firstly have to say thank you so much to all the speakers, because I think we're all very excited for the upcoming events and we all are able to see something very important. So something Bianca highlighted very well as Mr. Keshav, was that you could be next. You could be the next individual that has this amazing journey and that contributes so greatly to the climate change issue that we are facing in the world today. Saying that, I have to highlight that we're going to have the Global Voices Climate Summit that will follow all of these events. So as Vivian indicated, we will be having the judging of the different submissions, and after that we will be awarding somebody with a prize. This will take place after the 22nd of September 2025, so please do join the Climate Summit. Please keep a lookout for the date and the invitation, which Mr. David Harperstad will be sharing soon. Another important aspect of the Climate Summit, last year or the beginning of this year, we had different speakers from different institutions engaged in climate change. We had speakers from the World Wildlife Fund, the Institute of Economic Justice, and the South African Climate Network. So what's amazing about this is that when we bring these speakers to the space, it's not just a passive place for you, but it's a place in which you can engage with the speakers, ask them questions, and also find out how you can get involved with different organizations, and then build and strengthen those collaborative relationships that can really make your climate journey so much more meaningful. There will also be opportunities to present your resolutions. So when we spoke about the UN MOOC previously, and we had our participant from the previous UN MOOC, something that was really amazing was that as you generate solutions in your prospective groups, you also get opportunities to take on leadership roles. So I encourage you to take on these leadership roles and then also be part and parcel of presenting your resolutions, because at the end of the day, when it comes to climate issues, you are the one that knows the specific climate problems that you are facing in your communities, and nobody knows it better than you. So you are in the best position essentially to generate solutions and technologically enhanced solutions as well. Lastly, like I said, the winners of the Code the Climate Hackathon will be announced. So please, please, please do join us for the Global Voices Climate Summit that's going to be taking place. And I won't take up more of your time, so I'll hand it back over to David. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nathma. So there we go, guys. That will be the final activity for this activity or project that we're working on. All right, so then without further ado, we did have a competition for you. So as I promised you, we would announce the winner before we end tonight. So I'm just going to quickly check with Richard. Do we have a winner? And he's going to share his screen and announce who the winner is and why did the person win.
Yeah, thank you, David. So yes, we have a winner this evening. I saw somebody else asked about the prize. So remember, it's UNISA branded Bluetooth earpods. So they work very well with your laptop or your phone. And yeah, you can make calls and all of that with them. So just a reminder, the question is, once you have completed this MOOC, what will you do with the knowledge you have learned to make the world a better place for all? And then the winner will be Carisha, that gave quite a nice little statement about how she would use it to create smaller communities, create dialogues, share cultural perspectives so we can find common grounds. So that's a very unique way of doing it by bringing communities together. Now, as we mentioned earlier, we don't take responsibility for choosing the winners. We feed all the information into AI. The AI has been trained on the MOOC content. It's been, we also add, you know, the question that is on, what is the program of the evening, so it can really make a decision based on, you know, the knowledge that it has, the context of why, in what context this question was asked. So remember, that's the things that you will learn all about when we get to the AI components. It's about how important the context is. So the AI selected Carisha demonstrates excellent alignment with the MOOC's objectives, explicitly mentioning diplomacy, negotiation, and problem solving, a vision of creating miniature assemblies and converting conversations into community-driven, tangible actions is practical, impactful, and aligns closely with the SDG goals. So, Carisha, I think you cheated a bit. You went through the course already. Maybe you had some insights from the course to give such a unique answer. But thank you for doing that. That is what we want you to do, is go through the content and then see how you can use this content to make a practical change. So with that, that is the winner. I will post in the chat as well the comment from the AI and then also Carisha's response. So Carisha, we will reach out to you by email on your MyLife email account, and then we will just ask for the delivery information so we can get it to you as soon as possible. Thank you, David.
Thanks, Richard. Much appreciated, and well done, Keisha, so for winning the competition. See, guys, when you join our events, there's always something to take away. But I hope today you've learned just a lot of information. I know we've given you a lot of information this evening. All right, so the final item on the program is actually the closure, and unfortunately, our colleague Lindiwe Mahlangu is not feeling very well today. She was actually booked off work, so then I'm going to actually have the pleasure of doing the closure. So guys, thank you so much for attending, to Prof Makano and Dr. Chetty for coming out to support this event, this kickoff event. It was really appreciated. To the keynote speaker, Devesh, really appreciated. Very interesting conversation that you presented to us, and I hope people were really paying attention. I'm sure you've inspired them based on the chance you took, and look where it led to. And then, of course, to Richard for showing us how the MySkills Hub work and how easy it is to log in. All right, so please, you can start engaging. The materials already there. And of course, from our student, Mr. Abara Fiesa. So thanks again for coming online. I know you're in Ethiopia. I think your timeline's the same as ours, I'm sure. But thank you once more for sharing everything that you've actually gone through and how important it was. Then, of course, to Keshav, our facilitator, that's coming up this Thursday. We'll be sending you out the program and an SMS. So do join us for the MOOC, where Keshav is actually going to take you through the whole content. So you've got opportunity then to ask questions and you can discuss exactly everything that's been taught. So it's a really awesome opportunity. Then, of course, to Vivian Aladna with the code The Climate. So guys, we're going to have some separate sessions for that one, but it's an opportunity. We're giving you a chance. You can do something with that chance. Then, of course, the Imagine Cup competition for next year. I'm really keen to see if you guys enter that. Please do. I really want to see one of you guys win it. That would be awesome. Thanks again, Bianca, for sharing that information. And of course, the fact that you came here tonight, you got that information. Of course, then from NAFMA, just to remind you guys, there's a summit coming up and it's going to be practical. So make sure you do that MOOC. Make sure you attend those classes with Kashraf so that you understand how it works. So when you come to practically applying everything you've learned, you're gonna actually see the benefit. So I really appreciate it from everyone. Thank you so much. I know we went a little bit over time, but I think it was really worth it. Have a lovely evening further, and look out for all the emails and SMSs from Adolf, because we'll keep in touch with you, and have a blessed evening further. Bye to everyone.
Bye, everyone.